I made my daughter sob in front of her best friend, and I don't regret it. My daughter had been counting down the days to this sleepover for weeks, and she ran inside her friend's house before I could even unbuckle my seatbelt. I followed her in, and my stomach dropped the second I saw the living room. There was a glass display case with the door hanging open and several guns inside, and a handgun just sitting on a shelf by the TV like it was a decoration. I told my daughter we needed to go, and she immediately grabbed my arm and said, "Please don't make me leave. I've been waiting forever for this." Her friend's mother, Natalie, laughed and told me the girls knew better than to touch anything, and her husband called out from the couch that this was the safest house on the block. My daughter looked at me with tears already forming, and I felt trapped. So when Natalie said we should go have wine in the kitchen while the girls played, I went against every instinct I had and followed her. Natalie poured 2 glasses, and I tried to act normal, but I kept glancing toward the living room, and she's known me for 10 years, so she could tell something was off. She asked what was wrong, and I made the mistake of being honest, telling her I wasn't comfortable with the guns being out like that around the kids. The warmth drained from her face immediately, and she set her glass down hard on the counter. My husband has been shooting since before he could ride a bike. He's the most responsible gun owner I've ever known. I told her it wasn't personal, and she cut me off. "Are you seriously standing in my kitchen insulting my husband while he's out there watching your daughter for free?" I started to say that wasn't what I was doing, but she kept going. "I've watched you hover over that girl at every single birthday party and playdate for years. You know why she has anxiety? Because you taught her the whole world is something to be afraid of. You're so paranoid you can't even let her have one normal sleepover without finding something to worry about." I felt my face getting hot and told her that was out of line. She laughed. "The truth usually is." She leaned in closer and her voice got quiet. "You're not protecting her from anything real. You're protecting her from things you invented in your own head. And one day that little girl is going to grow up and realize her mother stole her entire childhood over nothing." I looked her in the eye and said, "I'm getting my daughter and we're leaving right now." Natalie rolled her eyes and leaned back against the counter. "Go ahead, run away like you always do. You're just proving my point." I didn't respond and walked toward the living room with Natalie right behind me. The living room was silent when we stepped through the doorway, and it took me a second to process what I was seeing. Natalie's husband was gone. The handgun that had been on the shelf was now in his daughter's hands, and she was pointing it directly at my little girl's chest, while both of them giggled like they were playing some kind of game. My whole body went cold, and I screamed at both girls to freeze. I crossed the room and grabbed the gun from her daughter with hands shaking so badly I nearly dropped it, and my daughter burst into hysterical tears because I'd never screamed at her like that before, and she had no idea what she'd done wrong. I held that gun and couldn't breathe. When I turned around, Natalie was frozen in the doorway, and that's when her husband came strolling back from the hallway with his phone in his hand. His eyes went wide when he saw me holding his gun, and both girls sobbing. I was gone for 1 minute. They know better. It's not even loaded. I looked at Natalie, and my voice was shaking. "Is this what responsible gun ownership looks like? Is this me being paranoid? Is this your husband never letting anything happen?" Her mouth opened, but nothing came out. I told my daughter to get her things because we were leaving right now, and I walked her out the front door without looking back. My daughter cried the whole way home, and when I told my spouse what happened, they went pale. They work at the county clerk's office, and they said, "There's something I should have told you a year ago when I first saw the record." 3 years earlier, Natalie's husband had pulled a gun on a neighbor's teenage son during a property dispute and been arrested for menacing a minor. I didn't want to blow up a decade of friendship over old news. I sat there realizing I hadn't overreacted at all, that I'd actually been underreacting for an entire year by letting my daughter anywhere near that house. She appeared in the doorway with red eyes and asked, "Am I ever going to see my best friend again?" I still didn't have an answer for her.